It seems like it's been about 3 weeks since. No, it's been longer than three. Has it been 3 weeks? Has it been 3 weeks, Terry? It's been
We
three
we,
weeks.
we was off 2 weeks because of
We,
you decided you wanted to take a nap, and
yeah, yeah,
then of course we had the American holiday in the middle.
yeah, yeah. So it's so good to have everybody tonight. Those of you listening on Power Faith Radio, it's good to have you with us here tonight. I'll kind of recognize some of those groups as they chime in. If you're watching tonight via a Simple Walk or B'nai Noach Fellowship, we thank you so much for coming. Or maybe you're watching the recording, we still want to thank you. Share those videos with all your social media platform. And as always, it's brought to you tonight by Outreach Noah. You can go to Outreach Noah on YouTube. Just type in Outreach Noah. It'll come up. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell that you'll be notified every time a new video goes up. And let's see if I can get the emails and everything right. Terry, go to the webpage, outreachnoah.com. Send an email to outreachnoah@gmail.com. And I'm going to go over there and look at those real quick, Terry, right now while you take it over.
All righty. Oh, greetings, everyone, and glad to see everyone here. And I can't see everybody on the radio, I guess, but glad that everyone can join us tonight. We have had a couple of weeks break. Scotty had a little bug get a hold of him one week, and then we had the American holiday here in the midst of us this last week. And I took the time to go out to Oklahoma and visit with my brother and visit with my dad. And on my way out there Tuesday afternoon, I became a grandfather. So it's been a busy week. Though now I have our first granddaughter, Clara Grace. She came in at 8 pounds, 8 pounds, 10 ounces and 21 and a half inches. I think she was carrying her diploma with her. She's actually even, my daughter said, she got the long hair already in the back.
Wow.
So, and got the good dark complexion from my side of the family, where we've got some Cherokee in us, and she was glad to see that and everything. But so yeah, it's been an eventful week. Went out and seen my dad, who's terminal. We've talked about that in the past and everything, and probably not too much longer now. I mean, his mind is really good and alert, but his body's gone. But we did get to have some, quality time with him the best we could, because he just doesn't have the strength to hardly even talk. But we did have one good day there. He really got to talk, for a good while before he ran out of strength. And so it was just a real quick run out to Oklahoma and back this last week. Scotty, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Slow.
You hadn't retired yet?
No. Yes and no. Is that a trick question?
I know that.
Is that a trick? I'm telling everybody.
Guys, listen, Scotty works 9 days a week, and I'm kidding. I'm not kidding you. You try to get a hold of him.
You gonna get my wife started on me here. She's gonna chime in.
Oh, that's right. Hey, Annie, can you?
Yeah, she's gonna chime in. They've been on me.
She's probably ready for you to retire, ain't she?
Been on me about it. So.
We'll have to join forces there, Annie.
Yeah. I'm waiting on her to chime in right now.
There you go.
I can see her finger going for the button.
Going for the dial.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll greet everyone here in the Zoom room, because we got Ronald and Bob and Amuela, Wendell, Fred, Veronica. Is you in Ohio still? She's still in Ohio.
I am still in Ohio.
You're still in Ohio.
Of Columbus, but I'm going to go head south a little bit tomorrow.
Okay, that'll work. And then of course Annie, Scotty's better half. Glad to see everyone here in the Zoom room. Again, the Zoom room links are in our Facebook groups, the Simple Walk and B'nai Noach Fellowship is got the Zoom room links. If you want to join us, you don't have to be on camera, but you're welcome to come in if you so desire.
Those links are now posted on the radio as they watch this, as they listen. At the bottom of the app, it's running across as a little ticker tape. That's on, and they can click that and depending on the phone or the device they're looking at.
Okay. That's
Scotty,
good. Well, go ahead.
Scotty, sorry to interrupt. Is
Go ahead.
Scotty, sorry to interrupt. Is B'nai Noach streaming? I can't pick it up. YouTube and Simple Walker streaming, but I can't get B'nai Noach to come up. I keep
I'll-
refreshing.
Terry, if you'll take it up just a little bit more, I will go check it out. Can you do that?
All right. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I'll be right back.
All righty. So far, we haven't had the winter weather here. Some of the mountains in the Blue Ridge, south and east of us, has had a little bit of snow here, but we're starting to enter our winter months here, and it was 20 degrees this morning. And for us southern people, we ain't as southern as some of them are in South Georgia and Alabama and Florida, but still, that's a little too cold. I kind of like the spring and the early fall is my favorite. Summer around here it can be unbearable because of the humidity that comes up out of the Gulf. But I hope y'all are having good weather where you're at. I think one of my friends that lives up in Camden, New York, something like that. That's how you pronounce it. He was showing pictures. They were having pretty good snowfall up there. You getting any, Wendell? You're not? Okay. He was having pictures. His whole yard and the roof and everything was done covered today when he posted some pictures up there. I think is Camden like mid New York, mid state?
Yeah, it's sort of mid state gets some of the lake effects.
Okay, that may be what he's getting.
Yeah, I mean Buffalo got 2 feet.
Wow. Now, okay, that's probably what the storm was. He said there was a storm was coming. So
yeah.
All righty.
2 feet of snow.
2 feet. No, thank you. As long as I'm off work, Scotty would have to work in it, but as long as I'm off work, getting to enjoy it, from the window, I don't care. But anyhow.
So we had an ice storm here a few years back. We had an ice storm and there wasn't anything moving. And I went to work, and I don't know how I got there, but I went to work, and when I was going out to get me some lunch, I slipped on the ice and couldn't figure out how did I get here.
There you go.
Anyway, that's
I did learn a cool little interesting tidbit where my brother lives out there just across the line into Oklahoma from Fort Smith, where my dad and my brother live. I mean, you can about throw a rock in any direction. You're either in Arkansas or Oklahoma right there on the line. But they're right there. He drove me out to a little park near his house and down to what's called the Poto River. And he told me it was interesting. He says the Poto River is the only other river in the world besides the Nile that runs north. It doesn't run like south like most of your other rivers. And he says the only other river in the world that it's like the Nile. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And that is the river where at the one time the United States stopped and all the bad guys went over on the other side into the territories and would escape. And he was telling me that new show, Bass Reeves, was a lot about that area right there where he would go across into the territories and grab the bad guys. He says, so when you see that show on Paramount, I think it's Bass Reeves, some of the places that's mentioned there around Fort Smith is right in the area where my dad and my brother live.
Well,
are you ready, Scotty?
I'm ready. I think we got that up and running.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate everybody that has sent in or participated in our Tzedakah time, and we're going to get right into it tonight. As always, we remember our main teacher, Pesach, and his wife, Shira Sherbo, so we're giving Tzedakah for them tonight. They live in Sfat, Israel. Also giving Tzedakah tonight for Ethelene Moore, and Philip Hayes. I got both of them on the same line. That's Terry's dad. He was telling us, talking about it just before he come on. And Terry, you can give us an update. But Ethelene Moore and Terry's daddy, Philip, are both on hospice at this time. So, Terry, you want to just tell everybody about your dad again? I think we wasn't on the air when you was talking about that.
Yeah, my brother told me, he said he helps take care of him every day. He's with him every day. And we're probably looking a month or two out, probably is his body's about gone. His mind is pure and sharp, except when the pain meds kick in, makes him a little bit woozy, gets a little aggravated at that. But I got to take a picture. I didn't get any pictures on the inside, but I got to take a picture of his house. It's the last house that he built. He built it by hand. Took him 6 years to build it because he was traveling and doing millwright work at the time he was building it. But he hand stick built the trusses out of 2x6s, and what was really interesting, there's not a piece of sheetrock in the house except for some fire rock underneath some tile where his little gas wood stove is. And it's all cypress, sawmill cypress that he bought, and planed it, routed it, and tongue and groove it all the walls in the ceiling, all out of cypress.
Well, let's see those pictures, Terry.
I didn't get any on the inside. I didn't get a chance to do that because when we were inside, I was busy being with him.
Yeah,
he was telling us about it, and stuff. Man, just amazing, beautiful woodwork. I hadn't got to see it. This was the first time I got to go out there and see it. But he did an amazing job. I thought he bought the wood like that, but he didn't. It was sawmill cut, and he planed it and did everything and stained it all. And
okay, well, we're going to continue to give tzedakah for Philip, and then also we're giving tzedakah tonight for Wendy Shepherd. I don't know if anybody's heard anything about Wendy. Ronald, have you heard anything about Wendy?
No, not at all. I noticed yesterday, she responded to a post about Rabbi Cowan not being available for a couple of weeks, but other than that, zero.
Okay. Well, we're going to continue to have her. Also, we have on our list tonight, Nadine Akins is on our list tonight. Also, William and Tina Lyons. Clifford Hoole is on our tzedakah list tonight. Also, Ronald, you're next in line there. You're on the tzedakah list. You want to give us everybody an update on you, Ronald?
Yeah, I've had finally got a first appointment with the hospital, but there's other investigations on another organ that need to be done before they will operate on what they need to do. So we're in a waiting game and everything's months away, but appointments are happening and investigations are happening.
Okay. Well, we're going to keep you on our tzedakah list. Also, somebody always sends in something for you from you, Amuela. So we're giving tzedakah for, this is from Amuela going into the tzedakah list. They also send in some for Veronica Port, and as she's traveling the country, and also Thomas Schaus. We were just talking before we started the program tonight that we're missing Thomas, and hopefully here pretty soon he'll be able to rejoin us. And then also Warwick Marshall, we have him still on our tzedakah list. How's Warwick doing, Ronald? I know you just jumped back off, but how's Warwick doing?
He seems to be doing pretty good at the moment. We keep in touch a couple of times a week. He's a bit up and down, but in general, I think he's got more pain going on in the front of the cranium at the moment, but other days he's okay. Some days he's really down with it. It aggravates him. So I'm not sure what's happening internally at the moment.
Okay, well, we're going to keep him on our tzedakah list. Also, we're giving Thanksgiving tzedakah for Mary Parsons. I am not going to ask if she's prepared her shovel for snow, but we're giving Thanksgiving tzedakah for Mary Parsons. So you knew I wasn't going to. How's she doing, Wendell?
For the most part, she's doing pretty good. Just the normal aches and pains of getting into winter.
Okay, everybody in here resembles that remark. So, all right. And then on our blessed memory tzedakah list tonight, we have Murray Mason. Murray Mason, given blessed memory. Let me get this in here. And then we are going to, my computer is just moving so slow tonight. So we are going to, would you help us pray tonight? Hear our voice, Adonai, our God, Father of mercy. Have compassion on us and accept our prayer with compassion and favor. For you are a God who hears prayers and supplications. Our King, do not send us away empty-handed. Favor us and answer us and listen to our prayers. Amen. All right, Terry, are you about ready to get underway?
I guess so.
Okay, I'm going to put you on speaker view.
I ought to be had a couple of weeks break.
Yeah, I was figuring you would be ready to go for about 3 hours tonight. So I don't know.
Well, that could be any given time if you want,
yeah.
if you want me to.
You just take it away.
But I'll be honest with you, I
Yeah.
did take the break. We relaxed and actually got some good reading in. About those who like history, I really recommend this book. It's really, really good. It's by David Gann, and it's got the pictures of a lot of the stuff where, the documents and stuff he researched from, but it's called The Wager. It's a tale of shipwreck, murder, and mutiny. And it's based on true events of a group of ships that was sent out to go to war with Spain in the 1740s. And the Wager was a small ship that they had turned into a man of war for this endeavor that shipwrecked. But Anison, the commander of the whole squadron, or whatever they call it, he I think there were 6 ships in all. I just really recommend it. If you like that kind of stuff, it's all based on real events from documents from journals of the men that survived this endeavor. And I'm probably a little over 3/4 of the way. They're actually going to be making a movie out of it. He's the same author that did, and I haven't seen this yet. What is it called? Was it called Death of the Moonflower or Flower? It's about the Native Americans out west that the oil field, oil was discovered on their property. He did that one, and they made a movie out of that one. And I really recommend it. It's a good book. Anyhow, we'll get started with our book study tonight.
All right.
We're going to be picking up on page, if you have the book, page 43 down at the bottom. As I messaged Scotty this morning, this first little bit that we're going to cover, I'm not sure how far we're going to get, because I'm really hoping if you want to, some of the stuff I'm going to be covering is good opportunity to have some discussion. If you want, and questions, or you can save them for another time and we can go over this. But I've got a couple of areas that I'm going to cover that this book kind of, for me, it led me to, and passages, and I feel like it's a good opportunity for some good discussion and Q&A. If y'all want to, you can send the questions into Scotty and Wella and Ronald there via the chat rooms that's on all the groups and on the radio station and everything. Scotty went and disappeared on me. All righty. Page 43 at the bottom. We've been talking about, this is the chapter where we're talking about the second gate, the gate of prophecy from God, the centrality of prophecy and the foundation of faith, the concept of free choice, which we'll be getting more into that a little later. But the bottom of page 43 is where we left off. It says, I'm going to back up to a little bit before, the last part that we actually read from the last time we got together. It says, these words of Maimonides refer to a lofty level, spiritual level of prophecy, and a great prophet like the prophets of the Tanakh, who prophesied for the Jewish nation and about major issues. Above and beyond this, the prophecy that ascends all other prophecies, both in completion, its message, its quality, and the depth of its truth, is the prophecy of Moses, our teacher, on Sinai when he received the Torah from God. With that, I want us to go look at Exodus chapter 19 and verse 19 to show how we can understand that statement, because this is a powerful statement for those who doesn't have the book. If you want to write this down, I'll try to read it back to you slow. If you want me to repeat, just let someone know and to let me know, and I'll be glad to repeat it again. It said, above and beyond the prophecy that ascends above all other prophecies, both in its completion, its message, its quality, and the depth of its truth, is the prophecy of Moses, our teacher, on Mount Sinai when he received the Torah from God. In Exodus chapter 19, we are told, let me make sure I'm at the right place here. I'm at the wrong one. Hold on. I got two bookmarks. That's the wrong one. I thought that didn't look right. I'm going to be going to there a little bit later. Okay. Exodus chapter 19, verse 9. It says, the Eternal said unto Moses, behold, I come to you in the thickness of the cloud, so that the people will hear as I speak to you, and they will also believe in you forever. The sages of Israel teach us on this passage, says that the Eternal said that God, that he would speak to him, Moses, from the midst of the thick cloud, but that the entire nation would be able to hear the divine voice, which by several calculations were somewhere in estimates of about 3 million people, 2 to 3 million people heard the voice, the divine voice speaking to Moses from the cloud. Thus they would all know that he had spoken to Moses, and that this would guarantee that all future generations would acknowledge the province and the indisputability of Moses's prophecy. Complete faith in the prophecy of Moses is listed, which we had read, by the Rambam as one of the principles of the Jewish faith. Even if an acknowledged prophet were to come and perform undeniable miracles to buttress his claim that he had divine authority, to contradict the teachings of Moses, his very claim to supersede Moses would brand him as a false prophet, and he would be liable for the death penalty. Because Moses' teachings are at the core foundation of Israel, the Jewish people. They are not open for dispute. In order to establish his credentials, the revelation at Sinai was public, so that the faith in Moses would be beyond question. Hey, Scotty, you want to discuss that, or got any questions on that before we go any further? Because I know that for some that's may not have heard that before.
No, that go a little farther, because there's some communication going on. I'm going to bring it to you here in a minute. Go a little farther on that. Well, no, just let me dump it on you now.
No, yeah, just go ahead and dump, because when I go on to the next one, it's going to lead me over into the next area that I want to cover after this one.
Read the last statement that you made on the last paragraph that you just read while you've got that still open.
You're talking about the paragraph from our book?
Yes.
Okay. It says, the prophecy that ascends above all others, prophecies, both in its completion, its message, its quality, and its depth of truth, is the prophecy of Moses, our teacher on Sinai, when he received the Torah from God.
Okay. I thought we had more prophets that brought in laws. This is not my question. This is what's discussing going on here.
Right.
Were there not more prophets that brought in laws, commandments, responsibilities? I'm adding that in there. Obligations, or was Moses it.
Moses was it. The prophets that are in the Hebrew scriptures after him stands on what Moses said. When you read the prophecies, they are always directing Israel back to the Torah. Anytime that they deviated, they come back to the Torah. They may further explain what was said, but nothing can never be added. Nothing can ever be subtracted, not in one letter in the Torah, not anything. What Moses said was complete. It's forever.
And oh boy, I don't know if I should
Yeah.
open this keg of worms here. Should I open this keg of worms?
That keg's not in my hand.
Well,
Enjoy.
okay. It's right over here. It's right over here. I'm fixing to dump it out here. So Torah. What does the word Torah mean? Let me go at it this way. What does the word Torah mean?
The Torah has the root word of or, which is light. But its basic understanding is instructions.
Okay.
And I'll explain a little bit more of that here. A little bit of that's going to be touched on here in just a little bit. But its purpose is to instruct us on how to live.
Okay. So I'm about to make a statement. Again, this is not my statement, and I'm presenting it in a non-stabbing way. Okay.
Okay.
So what you're saying is that everything written past Torah has to fit the parameters of Torah.
Right. Now I'm going to, since we're bringing this up, I'm going to bring, for those who, I'm just going to have to say, no, I'm not saying this in a negative format. Please do not take this. But those who have not been studied in the Torah and they have been taught by other religions, there's going to be an automatic rejection, but that rejection is from the ignorance of what it really is. But the Torah, and it's actually, I wish I had, now that you bring this up, I wish I'd looked up the passage because it's in the Torah itself. The Torah is written and oral. The written is just the headlines, but the Torah, the oral is the explanation. And there are several places within the Torah that teaches us that. Matter of fact, there's one, I don't know, Bob may know where it says Torah, where you have the mitzvahs and the commandments. I can't think of that passage. The mitzvahs and the commandments and the statutes. It's way it's written in the Hebrew. It is telling us of the written and the oral. And the way we know that there's an oral, there's just for like Israel was given certain commandments, like for Israel, this is not for us. You shall observe the Sabbath day. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to have 3 million people coming up with their own methods. No, they were given instructions. Matter of fact, in the Torah, it does say you shall slaughter the way you were shown. That's not in the written either. It's in the oral. Now, it's a whole total different deep subject, which we can cover in the future. But the Torah mindset, remember we talked about the Torah paradigm and the Torah worldview a few weeks back? Understand, it's not sola scripture. Sola scripture is from another religion. The Torah is written in oral, and you cannot understand. Well, okay, another example. This is an example. It's one that I can't stand when you see it on the movies. Even those who are not believers in God uses this verse: an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. That doesn't mean if you poke my eye out, I'll poke yours. It doesn't, you see that in the movies, you hear people talk about it. It's a total misunderstanding. It's people who've doesn't know the Torah. What that means is it's a monetary measurement. It is a monetary measurement. That's just how is it explained. Things have to have, there's got to be equal balances. And so it has nothing to do with revenge or giving someone their just due. If they hurt you, if they hurt me, I'm going to hurt them. An eye for an eye. No, that's a misinterpretation of that. And we learn that from the sages And they teach us this in the oral Torah. And by the way, even the Noahide laws was oral for over 2,000 years until they were reaffirmed in the written Torah at Mount Sinai. And one just simple fact: we all have our oral instructions. Who here read a book on how to tie your shoes?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to, that's just a big area for a lot of people. They're against that because, well, they're against it because they don't know. Even reading the Hebrew itself to be able to pronounce the Hebrew is orally taught. It wasn't written down for thousands of years as far as the vowel points that we have today. It's orally taught. It's even, they even sing the Torah. It takes years to do it. I think it's called trope. And it's called trope, Bob, where the way they sing the Torah on Shabbos. So there's so much there that's written and oral, but we're talking about the Torah of Moses is the written and the oral together. So I know that was 2 cans of worms.
That was 2 cans of worms. So I don't know if I were to open the other one. I'm going to let it lie there because I think you answered the other one, and I don't want
anything that any person who sets himself up as a prophet and comes, and even if they, like it says right here, even if they do undeniable miracles, but if anything they say to do to take you away from the teachings of Moses warrants the death penalty by God. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 13, where he says if a dreamer and a prophet comes and he's going to take you away and he does miracles and they come true,
right?
And he goes and he wants to take you to a God that you do not know, he shall be put to death. That's in Deuteronomy 13. So and I didn't bring all this up to argue. It's just, this is part of the prophecy, to understanding what prophecy is. The prophecy of Moses, as we will see here in a few minutes, it's eternal. God himself says, I'm going to speak to you in front of the people that they will believe in you forever. No one else. They're not to believe in anyone else's words but Moses. The other prophets that's in the Tanakh, Jeremiah and Isaiah and all of them, all of their words have to back up Moses 100% or it's false.
Right. Okay.
It does not supersede.
Okay. You just pick it up from there. I think you've answered that other question. I'm going to put you back on
anything else? I mean, we got time.
No, it's
okay.
Because
I didn't want to just dump this and then go on. I want to get the opportunity.
I think that if I present this next thing that's discussing, it's going to pull you away from the area you're going. So we're not going to cover that at this time.
Okay. Make sure I got it all finished up here on this. Yes. All right. Picking back up. Of course, it says, it's also, this is going to be explained further as we get into our following chapters in our book. It says, just as it is one of the foundations of faith to know that God gives prophecy to people at a level that is fitting for each one, according to the refinement of their mind and their heart and their actions. It is likewise a foundation of faith to believe that it is not only possible that a specific person can reach the highest level of prophecy and conscious connection with God's presence that is humanly possible, but also that God indeed chose Moses as such a person to stand before him. God gave Moses the ability to spiritually purify himself to the utmost of which a human being is capable until he reached closeness and constant bonding to God's presence. Now we're going to move here to another area. The level of Moses' prophecy made a great unification possible. Through him, God brought his Torah into the physical world. The Torah is all-inclusive wisdom of God, which includes all the created, spiritual, and physical realms. It is his word to all people forever. Now I want to go over to Psalms 19. We're going to go Psalms 19. Actually, I'm going to begin in verse 1 because it's you'll understand this once I get to, we're going to go 19, 1 through 8. Which actually I could go do more than that, but I just chose to stop at verse 8 on this lesson. Psalms 19, verse 1 says, "For the conductor, a song of David. The heavens declares the glory of God, and the expanse of the skies tell of his handiwork. Day following day brings expressions of praise, and night following night beseeks wisdom. There is no speech, and there is no words. Their sound is unheard," which there's a great teaching right there, which I'm not going to get into tonight. It's a little lengthy. Their lines go forth throughout the earth, and their words reach the farthest ends of the land. In their midst, he has set up a tent for the sun. The sun is like a groom coming forth from the bridal chamber, rejoicing like a warrior to run the course. Its source is the ends of heavens, and its circuit is their end. Nothing escapes its heat. And this is the passage I want to emphasize on. The Torah of the eternal is perfect. It restores the soul. Our sages teaches us that the Torah of the eternal is perfect. After completing his description of the heavenly wonders which proclaim the wisdom of God, the psalmist proceeds to declare that there exists a testimony to God's greatness which far passes the heavens. That testimony is the Torah, which is perfect. It's tamim. Matter of fact, it's the same word that's used there in Genesis chapter 6, verse 9, where it says that Noah was a righteous man and was morally pure, and he walked with God. It's the same word that is actually that the Creator used to talk about Noah in that day. But it says the testimony of the Torah, which is perfect. All 5 books of Moses are called Torah. Not only the commandments, but the stories and the narratives. All of these are a guide showing the proper way to come close to the eternal. It restores the soul. Torah removes the soul from the pathway leading to death and restores it to the pathway leading to life. In Ezekiel chapter 18, there's a lot here in 18, but I'm only going to go through these couple of verses. 18, verses 21 and 22 of Ezekiel. As for a wicked man, if he repents from all of his sins that he has committed, actions, and he observes my decrees and practices justice and righteousness, he shall live and not die. 22. You repent of everything you've done, that you've done wrong. You begin to walk in the commandments of the Creator, practicing justice and righteousness, which is mishpat and tzedakah. And you do this, all of your sins that he has committed will not be remembered against him. He shall live because of the righteousness that he did. Actions. This is where it is telling us that the Torah is the pathway, removes the soul from the pathway leading to death and restores it to the pathway leading to life. And what's interesting, before I finish this little commentary up, again, tzedakah and mishpat, righteousness, which is tzedakah, which is also translated as charity. It's another word for charity. Matter of fact, the righteous men are called tzaddikim. Comes from the word tzaddik. Actually, they're called tzaddik in singular. In Genesis chapter 18 and verse 19, it says, "For I have loved him." He's talking about when Abraham, he came down. He's going to go to Sodom and Gomorrah. He says, matter of fact, let me back up here in verse 18 where it says, hold on, pages are sticking. All right. It says, "And the Eternal said, shall I conceal from Abraham what I do? Now that Abraham surely is going to be a great and mighty nation, and all the nations on the earth shall be blessed by him." It says, "For I have loved him." It's in the English, but the word there, love, is actually the Hebrew word, the root word da'at, knowledge. He says, "For I know him." For I know him. Because he commands. He knew Abraham because he commands his children and his household after him that they should keep the way of the eternal. That they should keep the way of the eternal. Doing Hebrew, tzedakah and mishpat, charity or righteousness and justice. Charity and justice, righteousness and justice. Tzedakah is doing what is right, like giving, but it's not the giving. It's not, actually, I don't like the word charity in English, but it's the closest thing we have. But you hear Scotty now, we use tzedakah, the Hebrew word, more, because charity generally, in its basic meaning and how people feel, they're giving something of themselves to help somebody else out. They're taking what they have to help someone else. That is not what tzedakah is. That's not what true Torah tzedakah is. Torah tzedakah, the way my first rabbi that taught me, my first teacher, he says it's taking that which is God and putting it in the right place that's his and doing what is right with it. Mishpat, the way it was explained to me, the mishpat or the mishpatim is like your laws. And for us, this doing justice, the mishpatim is doing what is just and having a just system and observing the commands that you are given. So you understand at this point, these mishpatims, these laws that Abraham was teaching his children and his household were not of the 613. They're the ones that came down from Adam and was taught to Abraham by Noah and Shem, his son. And it consisted of the laws of idolatry and blasphemy and sexual purity and murder and theft and laws of justice was what he was teaching them. But this is the way charity and justice, or righteousness and justice, right here tells us in the Torah, this is the way of God. This is the path that we were seeing here. And so we see in Ezekiel that when a wicked man begins to do these things, he's moved into the path of God. And when he does that, when he repents and he does that, those two things, those three things, does teshuvah, does tzedakah, and does mishpatim, that's what's required of him, then his sins will not be remembered against him because of the righteousness that he did. Not what he believed, but what he did. Go ahead.
Will you cover those two words again? Righteousness and justice. What are they again in
the Hebrew?
Yeah.
It's tzedakah, and mishpatim or mishpat. Mishpatim is plural.
What's mishpat mean? What's that?
It is, those are your laws. That's some, like one rabbi explained to me. He says in easy terms for you to understand, these are the laws that you are required to observe. For the Jews, they have a vast amount because of the priesthood. For us, we have 7 categorical. We actually have 7 laws, but they're very deep. They're very deep. We don't have 60. We don't have 70. We have 7, but there's a lot that comes underneath them. Just like with murder, we have the laws of causing personal harm to someone or even yourself. And theft and theft is the deepest. If we could ever have Abby on here and talk about theft, we'd be here for months, because she has studied law, the issue of theft, the law of theft, or the prohibition of theft. She's an expert on it. It's probably the deepest subject, because it's one of the first things that we did as human beings, which I've talked about that more.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is anything else on that, Scotty? This is the way of God, tzedakah and mishpat, or in English, tzedakah can be translated as charity, giving, just being a giving person. And it's just righteousness, doing that which is what is right. Okay. And then mishpatim is observing the laws that's required upon you, because every person's, like for those of the nations, we have a different, it's not the different set, but we have the set that we have, and Israel has. And even in Israel, it breaks down. They can't keep all 613, because there's laws for women. There's laws for bankers. There's laws for farmers. There's laws for the priesthood. There's laws for the Levites. So and just like what Scotty and our teacher has told us, he's the everyday normal, Jew. He's not a Levite. He's not a Cohen. But if he went out, because God tells the Cohens to clean the Levites clean ashes off the Temple Mount, at the altar. If he runs up and wanted to do that, it could actually cost him his life, because he wasn't told to do that. And so, see, there's even segregation there. So that's it's part of our duties to learn what our mishpatim is that God requires us. And it's really the 7. It's the basis for humanity, really. What God's given us in the nations is the basis for humanity, so we can set up just, law-abiding, harmonious societies. Anything else there, Scotty? I can help out on that. But like I said, as you can see, that the way of God is charity and justice, or righteousness and justice, as it's mentioned in Ezekiel 18 and Genesis chapter 18. And this is the leading, as the sages says here, this is the pathway which leads to life. That's actually was written by Rashi. Just as the heavenly lights sustain the earth, so does the Torah provide sustenance for the soul. Like a stranger in a foreign land who has no helpful friends to support, so is the soul a stranger in the human body. The physical body has many helpers to aid it in its relentless pursuits of lust and desire. But the soul is lonely, forsaken, captive. Only the Torah provides guidance toward the straight path, and restrains man from worldly lust and countless obstacles. Thus the Torah redeems the soul from its captivity and brings it back to its spiritual source, the place of its original glory. One of the things you'll as you study and you learn a lot of this, especially being in the nations and some that look to Israel and they have their festivals, and they have many things that the Creator has commanded upon them. And some people will look at this and will, like, it's like he doesn't really give us a whole lot, but there is a whole lot. Once you study this, it'll take you a lifetime to even know and understand, and even begin to understand what the Creator's desire and will for us as his non-Jewish part of the creation. But like one of the great sages has said that it said, better is he that is commanded and does than he that is not commanded and does. So some people get attracted and want to run out and try to do things that they're not told what to do, and they feel limited in what they can do. There's not a limitation. There is so much that the Torah offers for us within our categorical, what Scotty and I kind of call behavioral guidelines, is that's what the Torah is for us, is behavioral guidelines. Even in the stories, when we read a while ago, that even the stories are meant to teach us things. When we read what Abraham is going through and what the children of Israel is going through and different things like that, there are principles there for us to gain for life, for just everyday life. Not to be religious, but living, it is the basis for our human existence is what we're learning. Our Torah, our instructions, is the basis for our human existence. Scotty, anything else? Are you sure? Are you hiding from me? Yeah, he is. He's hiding down in the engine room. He's not about to come up here on the bridge. That's because that's where Amwell and I are at. You're going to get attacked. All right. It says the Torah is an all-inclusive wisdom of God, which includes the creative, spiritual, and physical realms. It is his word to all people forever. It is not directed to a specific person for a specific detail of his activities. It is not even a general concept that affects a person's whole life, being directed to a whole nation or even a whole generation. Rather, it is a prophecy that stands forever as God's will for his creation. When we get back to studying the book of Genesis and start learning from it, you're going to see what the Creator is. I love it how Rabbi Hur says Genesis chapter 2:16 is the beginning of man's moral training. And in this other book that I've been studying on the growing of the ethical man, he goes through as man after he's created, and he's moving through these phases. And there comes a point where the Creator told them to be fruitful, multiply. This is the first time God spoke to his creation. He began a conversation with his creation, and that's the only part of creation. Man was the only part of the creation that he began to speak to. We are the only speaking aspect of God's creation. There are some animals that can mimic, but they're not speaking. So he takes us from just being created to then he speaks and starts a conversation with man. When it says, Voyemer, when he spoke to them, he said to them, this one rabbi I'm reading this book from just breaks it down. It's really, really interesting. And then he moves man into a new realm. And it says, Hashem Elohim va'asav. He said he spoke. He says, and God, commanded man, va'asav ha'adam. He commanded man in Genesis chapter 2, verse 16. In that little bitty piece of sentence that we've read over and over, God has moved within the conversation, within building the relationship with his new creation. Now he gives him something to do to begin his moral and ethical training as a human being. There's so much in those few little words in that verse that we can gain from. This is what we're talking about, Torah. instructions, learning to live as human beings, and it's forever. It says it reveals to us that God lovingly created the universe and all the aspects of creation, with this world and mankind at its center of its attention, and with bestowal of obligations, prohibitions, rewards, punishments, and purpose. This is the concept of the prophecy that is in the Torah of Moses, our teacher. We'll go back and reread that. That mankind at the center of his attention, and with the bestowal, the giving of obligations, prohibitions, rewards, punishments, and purpose. This is the concept of the prophecy that is in the Torah of Moses, our teacher, by which God communicated with him openly on Mount Sinai before the eyes and the ears of the whole Jewish people, which we'll learn more about in further chapters. All right, Scotty.
I'm coming. I got more buttons to push to get it back over here. So yeah.
You got to get away from TOS, the original, push buttons.
Yeah.
You got to come up to the next generation where, before we had our computers today in the 80s, they were swiping.
Yeah. Well, if you see me
you
doing this,
you need a fucking button. You need to be swiping.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Scotty,
I do have something that's, I almost hate to bring it up because I don't want to create I'm going to use a big conundrum for anybody, but it probably needs to be addressed. That, certain religions teach that the instructions that God gave Moses I almost hate to say it, have become weak, and therefore God had to revamp the situation. How far is that from the truth?
That's actually blasphemy.
And tell us why. Tell us
that is blasphemy.
The principle of this.
How dare man to tell another man that what God called perfect, weak?
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go further in Psalms right here where it says, "In the Torah of the eternal is perfect." How can that be weak? To me, how can that be weak? That was what is even said about Noah. He was Tamim. Matter of fact, there's several times within the in Parshat Noah, God says that Noah done everything that God commanded him to do. He wasn't weak; he did it. And if you and there's a lot of really good oral tradition about everything that he did during that time. It's amazing at what Noah undertook. I mean, we read a few little words, but there's hundreds of days and like 100 years of just things that just went on. But he says the Torah of the eternal is perfect. Who is man that says it's weak? It restores the soul. Nothing else restores the soul.
Right.
Nothing. Zero. Only the instructions of the Creator, as it says in Ezekiel 18. When you do these instructions that you're shown to do and told to do, your sins will not be remembered against you.
Hmm.
What else do you need?
Right.
That's the word. Matter of fact, verse 1 in Ezekiel 18 says, "This is the word of the eternal that came to Ezekiel." Verse 4, "All souls are mine, says the eternal." No one can steal your soul. There are no soul snatchers out there. All souls are his. He claims ownership. Right there, Ezekiel 18, verse 4. The testimonies of the eternal is trustworthy, making the simple wise. The orders, the instructions of the eternal are upright, gladdening the heart. The command, the mitzvot of the eternal is clear, enlightening the eyes. The fear of the eternal is pure, enduring forever. The judgments of the eternal are true and altogether righteous. They are more desirable than gold, even much more than fine gold. What is weak? Explain to me, what is weak? Don't worship any other being before me. Matter of fact, in the second commandment given to Israel, in the Hebrew, it says, you shall not place another God on my face.
Yeah.
Any image that you can physically see, touch, or believe in, and you put that image of that is saying that is God, you have put that on the eternal's face, because he told Israel, you have not seen any form. And so these instructions, so what's weak about that? What is weak about blasphemy, about cursing the Creator, cursing his name? What is weak about the prohibition of theft? God gives you everything you need. Leave everybody else stuff alone. What's weak about that? Keep your hands off what's not yours. What is weak about not shedding the blood of your fellow man or harming him, other than for self-defense, which you are permitted to do? What is weak about not killing or hurting another human being that bears the image of God? What is weak about sexual purity? And a man shall leave his mother and his father and cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Think about that. We've talked about that in the past. What is weak about that? What is weak about, for us, not eating the limb torn from a living animal, that you have a living animal that's standing there alive, and you take a bite out of it, you rip some meat off of it while it's still alive, and you're harming it. What is weak about that? That teaches us how to take care of animals in our environment. What is weak about that? And then setting up just courts based on these laws. What is weak about wanting justice when people are hurting, hungry, starving, abused? What is weak about that? That is the Torah. Those that call that weak are rejecting and blaspheming the Torah, the God of Israel. I hate to be that strong, but you've got to hear that. It's God never says it's weak. To say that God's Torah is weak is to say that God is weak. And if your God is weak, then it's not the God of Israel. It's another God. Now you're falling into idolatry. Any God that is weak in his instructions is weak as idolatry. I know you may, I don't want to bring any of that up to be controversial, but I'm just trying to be, this is the Torah. This is why I wanted to take time on these few little things tonight, because this is so important before we go on, to understand that as long as you think that there is another prophecy, another source, then you're not going to know the God of Israel and what he expects, our Creator, the Eternal. You're not going to know that. As long as you have that in your mind, that there was somebody else that come along that done something else. When the Torah specifically says when they do that, they're worthy of the death penalty. And so that's why I wanted to talk about this so much tonight. When we got to go on, we've got to understand that the Torah of Moses is perfect and it's eternal, because God said that Israel will believe in Moses forever. That's why you can't. The ones who get snagged away to other Jews that get snagged away to other religions don't know the Torah. The majority of them have grown up in non-observant homes and can't even probably pray in their language. Which, if this Southern boy here can begin to read it and start, and within a week, I know the ones whose native language all the way back to Abraham can do it. But you don't have to read the Hebrew to know it. You've got But I'm just telling you, the ones who've been snagged away to other religions are those who does not know the Torah of God, or it would scare their socks off.
Yep.
Because for Israel, it's pretty rough news for them. It's actually, it's not as hard on us because we weren't given what they were given. But for Israel, it's pretty rough. Now children in Israel, the Israelites, the Jewish people who grew up not knowing, that grew up totally not knowing, they are considered like a baby that was kidnapped and was taken away and never knew his father. Go ahead, Scotty.
Nope. That was
No, listen, he jumped on that one quick.
yeah. So, okay, I'm.
Now, if there's any questions, I just don't want, if
What
anybody got
religion is
questions,
Torah?
do what?
What religion is Torah? Don't we need religion?
Torah is not religion. Man created religion. God gave us a way of life. It says Hashem Elohim Asav Ha'adam, and God commanded Adam. What was the religion of Adam? What was the religion of Noah? What was the religion of Abraham? Again, religion is a foreign language word. There is no word for religion in Hebrew, in the Torah. The only thing you have that comes close to what you might call religion is the word da'at, knowledge. And matter of fact, the Torah scholars actually refers to the other religions of the nations as the knowledge of the nations, the knowledge of Buddha, the knowledge of Hindu, the knowledge of whatever, Islam, the knowledge of. There is no religion aspect in Torah. Like I said, it's a total different worldview and paradigm shift in view than what we have grew up with. See, we're bringing our religious, wherever we are our Western, Eastern, Southern, Northern worldviews into the Torah, which was given 5,800. Nope, that's from Adam. It was given 3,400 years ago. Sorry, I've got to get my math right. About 3,400 years ago is when the Torah was given at Mount Sinai. And so we're bringing 2023 with our eyes, with our knowledge and what we were told into what God said to Moses 3,400 years ago on top of the Mount Sinai. And that's what messes things up. We're trying to look at Torah through our knowledge instead of through the Torah's knowledge. So that's the reason why Torah is not a religion. Torah is an instruction book. It's like it's like the manual inside your car when you buy it brand new. It tells you how to take care of it. Now you can do whatever you want, and whatever happens, it's because that's what you did. And that's pretty much what is the same way Torah. We can do what Torah tells us, which ours is the 7 category, or we can go out here and live however we want, but you're going to reap, the old saying, you're going to reap what you sow. You go and put the wrong kind of oil in or whatever you want to call it, or if you put the wrong size tires on, you're going to mash your speedometer up, you're going to get a speeding ticket.
I read an interesting thing on a tool this week that I had to purchase for work, and I read it said that if you do not follow the guidelines or if you misuse this product, the manufacturer will not be held liable.
Right. I mean, okay, I work at Lexus and Lexus Parts. Started there, moved up from our parts warehouse up to there about 5 months ago. Here, maybe about a month ago, a person came in with a fairly new Lexus, still under warranty, and the navigation screen was shattered, and they wanted it replaced under warranty. There was a problem. There was a footprint in the middle of it. Their kid had kicked it.
Yeah,
They wanted it replaced under warranty. And we're like, we can't do that. We send that back to Lexus and it's got that footprint in a minute. They're going to laugh at us. But you'd be surprised how many people, some of the things they do to their vehicles and tries to get it covered under warranty.
Yeah.
You know, human abuse is not manufacturer's defects.
Yeah. Oh, goodness. All right,
Scotty.
Great class tonight, Terry. Great class.
Like I said, as we go further, I wanted to really clear these 2 points up, that the prophecy of Moses is forever. That is according to the Creator, not even Moses. That was according to the Creator. I spoke to you in front of all this people, about 3 million, so that they would believe in you forever. That means they shouldn't be persuaded. And then the Torah is perfect. What he spoke was perfect. It cannot be enhanced. And if someone says it's weak, you need to ask, where are they getting that from?
Yeah.
Because they're not getting it from the Torah.
Right. All right, Terry, I'm going to bring us to a close. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Good deal. We want to thank everybody who joined us tonight. Now, I got the coffee shop group had 34 tonight. That's pretty good. And I haven't really heard from the Georgia group tonight on the amount just that they're listening. But we're so glad to have y'all listening tonight, and everybody listening by Power Faith Radio. And those of you that joined us through Simple Walk and B'nai Noach Fellowship Facebook pages, we thank you so much. Please ask those questions, give us those thumbs up, share those videos with all your social media platform. Find us on YouTube, Outreach Noah. There on YouTube. While you're there, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can find us at outreachnoah.com. That's our webpage, or send us an email to outreachnoah@gmail.com. Did I get all of them in there?
You got all that right. I just got to say, I just one little thing to say from my corner of the woods.
Okay.
This is an old UT boy saying, Georgia, go after it.
Okay.
Good job, guys.
Okay.
Y'all deserve what you're getting, and you know, y'all done another good year. Hey, I work with 2 Georgia boys side by side me, and I'm just like, I hear it all day long.
You know, it's sad to say, I've never, I never got, in tune with sports. I played a few sports when I was in school, but one of our neighbors' son played for one of the local big teams here, Alcoa, and the 2 cities, Alcoa and Maryville, they are kind of rival teams, and they'll play each other. They're both in different leagues, but they'll play each other. Anyway, he talked me into going and watching their son play. And so I'm up on the stands, and I'm watching. All of a sudden, this guy gets the ball, and I'm saying, run, run, run. And he punches me in the shoulder and said, that's the wrong team. And I said, well, I was just happy somebody had the ball.
There you go. I mean, I'm a basketball guy. I enjoy watching a good football game, but I'll be honest with you, I don't know what all the positions mean and what they do other than the quarterback and stuff. Because I played basketball growing up, but I'm married to Knoxville gal. And so, I watched some of my first Tennessee football with her and stuff, and that's okay.
All right. All right, everybody. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Terry, great class. See you, everybody.
It's been good. Y'all have a good week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.